Good day, class. Today we're going to be going over Unit 3, SAS6, Analyzing Graphical Displays. I want to welcome everybody back from their Christmas break. And right before we went on break, we went ahead and covered something called histograms. Now, what did histograms do for us? Why was it important to us? It was important to us because it gave us the ability to take one unit data, like in this case test scores, and display it graphically. And graphically, we're able to tell a lot as far as what's important, how did people score, and what the majority of the class did as far as in this case, like this was test scores in that one test we took about probability. Now, what I like for us to do is do a little bit of review when it comes to histograms. So let me go ahead and show you these questions. Looking at the histogram, I want us to go ahead and now answer these following 4 questions. Please explain what frequency is in this histogram. What is the bin range? Is the distribution symmetric? And is this histogram skewed to the left or to the right? What I'll do is I'll go ahead and pause the video, give you a few minutes to think about this, and then I'll go ahead and call on somebody randomly to share their answers with me. One of the things we're going to be moving forward, and one of the focuses of this assignment is going to be in regards how to take the histogram that we were just shown and also display it in a different manner called a box and whisker plot. I used the box and whisker plot to kind of make determination of your test scores, and it was this box and whisker plot that actually helped me say, okay, we need to assist the students in some manner in regards to the test, because it kind of showed me how our median or our Q1, Q3, and basically our minimum and max, how the test scores all came out and said, and how the data pointed to doing some modifications on the way we scored the test. Now, one of the things that I want to point out when it comes to box and whisker plots, that there's 5 points that are of our main focus. There's a minimum, something called Q1, also known as quartile 1, the median, quartile 3, and max. Now, 3 of these terms you're very familiar with: the minimum, the median, and the max. The quartile 1 and quartile 3, those are 2 new concepts that are important to know, but I know it's going to take a little bit of time as far as understanding how these play of an importance factor when it looks at box and whisker plots. Now, let me go ahead and share with you how all these 5 points are derived. They're actually derived from taking the data, like in this case the test scores, and breaking them up in 25% margin. So like in this case, there was about 190 students that took the test. Now if I take 25% and multiply by 190, I end up with an amount of about 47 students. So that means that between the minimum, which was the lowest that somebody scored, to the Q1, there was about 47 students that scored between that range. And then after that, between Q1 to the medium, there's another 25%, and from the medium to the Q3, it's like if you broke everything up into quarters. Now the thing is that it's not, when you look at these numbers, it kind of shows you the fact that they don't go evenly. You know, people will score differently. Now let's go ahead and go into detail. What do I mean by spread? You know, that what does it mean that 47 students took, you know, the amount from the minimum to Q1? Okay, here you go. Now, if you notice, you see how our box and whisker plot does not line up evenly to the top graph? That's because the data is different. What do I mean? That means that the data in the test scores, like there was a minimum of 16 and the Q1 of 52. That means that there was 47 students that scored between that amount. So it took 47 students to score below a 52 before we got to the amount that 75% of the students scored more than the 52. Now, between Q1 to the medium, there was 47 students that their test scores fell between 52 to 68. And from the medium to 80, you see how it says medium to Q3? It shows that 47 students scored between 68 to 80. Now, it's to be expected. Now, you notice how this one is the smallest. That means it had the biggest concentration. That means that more students, the majority, a good portion of the students scored between 68 to 80. If you notice how focused in that box is, it's the smallest box in there, indicating that it's the amount that had the most scores in it. Now, the last part of this is the 80 to 100. That means that 25% of the students scored between 80 to 100. And that's how the distribution of how this box and whisker plot was created. And the biggest point I wanted to emphasize, it's not even. It's more of what is it that the students fell into and how their percentages fell into. Now let's go ahead. Now this one kind of shows you all three all together, and it kind of just displays how, if you have, given a graph, the histogram, how it and the box and whisker plot are related. And I guess the biggest thing that you want to keep in mind when you see this is that if you notice how the distribution of this whole histogram is skewed over to the left, that means the box, you see how it's moved over to the right, it's the same thing as would be the histogram on top. The box and whisker plot and the histogram, they work, it's the same data. They just go ahead and present the data in a slightly different fashion, but using both is extremely powerful, because what it does is that it takes one unit data and really just goes ahead and discovers, okay, these are the strengths, these are the weaknesses, and this is what you can use it for. All right, good day. We'll go ahead, class, and spend about 3 days on this assignment. We're going to be having advisory most of this week, so we'll go ahead and start working on the assignment. If you have any questions, please see me in the back.